Hi to everybody. Again, Michael Bantu. Today I have this scenario that I have here. I have three cases that you have to see first, and then I'm gonna show you how to validate the input captured by this text. Input in this form of it is a simple login web interface. Okay, so here these three cases. They say the user wanted to log in without entering either the username or his password and try to access the system. Then what will happen? Let's say that the user want to log in with to enter anyone between this username and the password. What will happen here? They're gonna log in, the pop-up will be displayed to him or her that username and the password are not entered. Okay, this is the first case. And the second case, let's see if the user want to log in by entering only his usernames, and then what happened? Say he types the username as well, Bantu. Okay, and then say he typed the Bantu, and then he tried to log in without submitting his password. What will happen? Yeah, a pop-up will be displayed that password not entered. Okay, and the third case, and this is the second case, and the third case is, let's see if the user wanted to log in the system by submitting only his or her passwords, and then what will happen? Say he types their password that word. He types his password, let's say, and then try to log in. Then what happened? A pop-up also will be displayed that the username is not entered, as it seems that the username is not entered yet. Okay, so these are the three cases which I'm going to show you how to validate this so as it be like that one. So okay, so this is a lot of the JavaScript code. So let's see my source code. Let's see my source code here in my Notepad++. Okay, so this code here plays a role and make the form dynamically and behave like that as we have seen. Okay, so what is going on here? That here I have this JavaScript. I have this JavaScript codes. As we know, the JavaScript have to be written between in the head tag if your HTML codes. That is where this is where the head tag starts, and then and here is where the head tag is closed in your HTML code. Okay, so the function I've used to validate this form input is known as validated form function. Okay, so it is not necessary to be validated form function. I can give another name. Okay, so what I have to do there, what I have done here, there is, first let's see this here, my HTML code, which you build up the interface. That you see that there's a board, there's a table, in the table that also. Okay, but basically let's talk about this my form here. This is a form HTML code. All these are the form HTML codes, which basically the make this interface here. That's what we username. Then the user have to type a username here. We have this password where user have to type a password here, and then we have this login button, and then this description. This has the links which will direct the user to the respectively criteria. Okay, so in my form codes, what is going on is this is the form and this is the ID of the form, and where this is the name of the form, that is the login. Okay, this is the method of the form, that is post, where the data are going to be encapsulated during the information sent. Okay, and here this is there should be an action that to which page the form input are going to be processed, and where here this is an attribute, this is a form attribute known as on submit. This on submit belongs to this button, where that when this button is clicked, then when this button, login button, this is the submit button, when this is clicked, then what will happen? If this is clicked, then this function is to be called. Okay, or it's going to be returned this function, where this function is the JavaScript function. Okay, yeah, And here we have this the username, and the input type used for capturing the username is the text, and the name of that text is a username. And where I have this ID is having a minimum number of text to be entered in the username, and also we have the maximum number of text or character to be entered in the username. And here and there we have this the placeholder. This give out the name which you see on the background of a test, that here in the type your username here, this due to the placeholder attributes of the form. Okay, the same applies to this for the password, whereas the input type should be password, so as when the user enter a password will be encapsulated and given in terms of dots. Yeah, okay, this is the law of the attribute, the input type password. Okay, but also the name of that type of that text is of that password text is password. Okay, when of the minimum, the least number of the character of password character to be entered in. Also I have this, as I've talked to you, that I have two links there that click here. If not registered, we see direct the user to the registration form.php, and this is here click you forget your password direct to this form that is lega, where there are some criteria which will be used to verify the user if that password of the user is owned by that user. Okay, and then here the form is closed. So what happened, the JavaScript which is used to validate that the password and username from captcha is here. I have assigned these two values. I have this value x and this value y, where this value x belongs to the username. This belongs to the username text box. This belongs to the username text box here. This belongs to this one, named username, because this is just a label. This is just a label. Okay, but the name of this text is a username. So this variable x will hold the content entered in the username. Okay, yeah, here we have this dot value, but here this is the name of your form which is going to be validated. Okay, yeah, as I've shown, here this is our form. Okay, we have this form ID, but here we have this form name. Form name equals to login. So in your JavaScript here, using this script, the form should be typed here, and then we type the name of the text which you are going to validate. Remember, first you have to validate this username text, and thereafter I've assigned this another text val y, which is going to validate the password input type in my login form. Okay, this is the name of my form, and this is the name of the input type. You see, yeah, that is, and also this is the name of the form, and this is the name of the input type, and both these username and the password belong to the same form. That's why the name of the form remains the same. Okay, now let's see how to validate the first case, that is when a user try to log in. When a user trying to log in without type anything in the username or in the password input type, what will happen when you try to log in? Then a pop-up will display to him or her that the password or username and the password are not entered. That is the first case. That is the first case that is validated here. That you have assigned that y belongs to the password and x belongs to the username. So I have used this if control structure, that if y, which I mean that is the password, is null, if y is typed null, or y is kept empty, and because here I have to check both the situations, that I have to check both the username and the password. So we have to use concatenate by using and. Okay, and if x, which is the username, is filled with a null value, or x is left empty, then what will happen? Then the function will realize here as an array and give a pop-up. Username and the password are not entered will be displayed as we have seen. Okay, that was the first case. And the second case is I'm going to validate this case that if the user wanted to log in without type the username, without type his or her username, what will happen? Let's say he type only his or her password. Okay, and try to log in. Then a pop-up will be displayed that the username is not yet entered. So this is validated here in this code that if x, which x is equals to val x, which will hold is which was the value of the username entered. Okay, so if username, which is x, okay, is kept null or left empty, then what will happen? A pop-up will be displayed that the username is not entered as we have seen. Okay, and let's see this the third case. The third case is going to the first case is going to validate when if a user try to log in by submitting only his username but not his password, then what will happen? Okay, then you will see here that if y, which is the password, okay, yeah, because we have been assigned in the password value have been assigned into what? Into y. Okay, we do use this dot value, which means that the one which are going to be entered. Okay, yeah, so if y equals to null or left empty, then what will happen? A pop-up will be displayed that the password is not entered, and then the system will return not false. Yeah, that is it. And let's see if I try to log in by submitting only my username. Okay, username, say I do submit Bantu. Okay, then I try to log in by only using my username, then what will happen? Yeah, a pop-up is displayed that the password is not entered. Okay, yeah, that is. So that is the law of this code here, that if y is equal to null and so in order your JavaScript to work and perform well in your form, you have to return the function which is used to validate all this I've talked to you. Okay, yeah, the name of this function is validate form. So what happened here, that when the user click the login button, okay, here, when the user click this button, then the function is going to be returned on your form. Okay, yeah, and this explained in this code in my form. Okay, yeah, this is my form. Okay, this as the attribute of the form. We have the ID, we have the name, and we have the method. So the attribute responsible for returning the JavaScript validation function is known as onSubmit. Okay, so this attribute always do return or do call the JavaScript function for validating the user input. Okay, yeah, as you see that here, that if on submit, I means when the user click on the login button, then this return validate form function, this word validate form function is going to be returned, is going to be returned. If this returns, then the code are going to be executed. The code are going to be executed from this line here. Then are going to be checked. Then the value are going to be checked. This is how this JavaScript form validation works. Okay, so I think we enjoyed this tutorial. So I'm gonna see you in the next tutorial where I'm gonna show you how to validate if the user provide a long password. Okay, if the user provide a long password or a mismatch passwords. Where I say you dedicated this video to KBB. Okay, yeah, of course I dedicated this video to KBB. Okay.